Okay, so today, guys, I'm going to be showing you how to blow a duck call. And I know there's lots of videos on the internet, but I'm just going to show you how I personally blow a duck call. And there's many different sounds that some people make into duck calls, and it's pretty much the same concept, but some people just tweak it different to fit them. And what I make into the duck call is a oot, oot, like I'll do it in the back of the call here. And, well, I guess first I better, when some people like to put their hands on the call like this and use it like this. And I like to grab it like this, like the barrel, and put 2 fingers over the barrel, and then I like to use 1 finger to cut the air off and let it flow freely. And like Duck Commander and them, they'll tell you to make 10 sound, but for me, I just cannot get that to work. But I make the so that's pretty much the first initial quack. Like, you can kill ducks with just quacks. They're pretty much the main noise that all the other calls run off of, other than the feeder call, but I'll talk about that in a minute. So I make a oot, and you can use different calls are raspy, or I'll show you my triple threat, and I'll show you my double nasty. This is a double reed call. I do not have a single reed. This is the triple threat. This is a triple reed duck call. So this is a simple quack on my double nasty. Okay, so that's just that. Call kind of stuck a little bit there on that first one, but and then you just gotta practice and get that simple quack out of the call. If you can learn that, you can eventually go on to the other more advanced calling. Now, probably the next, which is probably the next easiest call to learn, is the Greek call. It's a simple call. Like, if you see ducks, it's kind of like, hey, come over here, play with me. The Greek call is just a series of quacks, and it's a little bit louder than a regular quack, but it's just a series of quacks put together to make that Greek call. This is how I Greek call. It's basically that. And you almost want to break it down, like go through shorter notes. And I've seen ducks only do 2, like 2, cut it down like twice, like, you know what I mean? But I like to personally make it vary between 5 and 7, like, you know what I mean? So I'll show you that in the right end of the call. All right, this call keeps sticking. I'm gonna have to quack to break it loose. All right. Okay, so that's pretty much the basic Greek call. And some people like to put a little whine. I don't, personally, I cannot put the whine on it. I do not have that enough air to make it whine. Like, some people like to make it like it's a little different. But that's just my personal way of the Greek call. And then the next is the comeback call. It's a really loud, excited note. So like if the ducks, when you want to hit the ducks on the corner, like when they're circling, if they're acting like they do not want to come, you just got to hit them with that comeback call. And I've never seen ducks come to that call. I just know that a lot of people use it. It's kind of like a way to bring them back. Like, really excited, like, hey, 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 where are you guys going? So it's kind of like this in the back of the call. Okay, it's kind of like a really loud and excited. I'll do it in a little bit. Okay, so it's more like an excited, when them ducks are going away and you cannot get them to come back and they're really giving you trouble. And I think the hardest call to learn for most people is the feeder call. The feeder call, well, there's two different. There's a feeder chuckle and then there's a feeder call. So the feeder call is basically, it's kind of just fluttering your tongue like, it's a matter of just training yourself and learning how to do that. Me personally, it took me about at least a month or and a half to really get that feeder call down. At first, I could only do flutter my tongue like 3 times really good to get that feeder call. But if you just practice, you don't have to have a duck call to practice that. You can just, I've been like, sometimes I'll just sit and I'll just, I'll just practice that, training my tongue, because it's a really good tongue workout, and it's really just training your tongue to be able to flutter like that. So I will show you the feed call into the barrel of your call. Okay, and then I will show you it into the mouth of the call. That's basically the feeder chuckle. Now, if you want to imitate just a couple of ducks, like probably 2 or 3 ducks feeding on the water, it's more of like a that first feeder chuckle is a lot of ducks, probably 2 dozen ducks doing that, you know what I mean? And that's more of like a couple ducks, just feeding around, and then you got like your 1 or 2 ducks, that's more like that. Basically, okay, so ducks, you don't see one duck going on the water going like this. Okay. Basically, that's a lot of ducks, and a lot of guys use it because they have big decoy spreads out, and they want to imitate a lot of ducks feeding. And so basically the feeder call is more like a finisher. So like if they're kind of committing and you just need them to lock up into the decoys, you give them that feeder chuckle, and usually they will. We personally, on the sound, when we have bigger ducks, we hail call or we greet call, and every once in a while little quacks, and we just feed chuckle. So, I mean, it's up to you. Wherever you're hunting, different ducks respond better, but a lot of times you just need to practice all those calls for all the situations that you'll need, and that's pretty much. And then I'll show you my other call. This is a triple threat, and I'm not gonna hail call on it because me being a younger individual, I don't have enough air to keep those 3 reeds going to do the comebacks and the hail calls. That double reed I can really good though. Now here's just a simple quack on this triple threat. It's a really raspy call. Okay, so, and then when I feeder chuckle on it, and you want to go with different calls and learn what you can blow the best. I've spent a lot of money on calls personally trying to figure out which ones I can blow the best. And here's a feeder chuckle. So that's pretty much the basics of duck calling. I will teach you how to blow these 2 other calls on my lanyard. These ones right here. This is a 6-in-1 whistle, and this is the Buck Gardner wood duck hammer. So this call is what we use a lot on the sounds. I whistle on it for divers, like big flocks of bluebills, and just kind of getting them to break when they're closer to you. It's kind of more like a and that's basically what I use for bluebills. And this is a 6-in-1 whistle. Here is, I cannot do a widgeon on it. It's pretty much the hardest for me personally. It's usually a lot easier for other people. But this is a green winged drake. Okay, and I have trouble with the mallard drake too, but I can get a little bit of a mallard drake. I just can't get that grumble in my diaphragm being a younger kid. So I can't do that very good, so I wouldn't take judgment. I would go to somebody else that can do that mallard drake a lot better. And then we have, let me think, a wood duck. I don't personally like this on a wood duck for the 6-in-1 whistle, but I do not like that wood duck. I think it sounds more like a widgeon. I honestly use it for widgeon, and it seems to work. But I really like this call because it has different variations of what you can use on it. I've never used it for dove hunting, but I can do a dove on it. And that's pretty much all the calls I can do on it. There's a couple other ones. I think that's the only one I can do on that though, but this is my call, my wood duck call. And I've been practicing a lot on this. I'm still not the best on it, but it has two notes, okay? So it has that original, and then that's just regular, you know, just kind of blowing with your diaphragm just up into it. And then when you squeeze the end of it, it creates pressure and makes that other sound. Okay, and for wood ducks personally, I think you don't really need to call at them very much. If you just give them something like this, get them to come over and check out your spread, I think that would be the best thing to do. But I'm not the best at the sitting, like the longer call form, and I never really use it. But it's kind of something like this. It's basically just blowing and then squeezing your hand down and making that really high pitch and then letting it off and stopping and cutting your air off. So that's pretty much it. And then I have this goose call. I'm not the best goose caller, but I've been working on it, and this is a cheap flute call that I got at Walmart, but it sounds pretty good. Only time I really use this on birds is I haven't really used this on geese because I didn't go geese hunting at all this season, and I might get a permit to hunt geese second season, which is coming in very soon. And I'm not sure if I'm gonna get the permit, but I just gotta find a spot, like a field that we have some geese, and I might get a permit. But I'll probably take you along for that if I do. And might be posting a crow hunting video tomorrow, hopefully. We're gonna try and shoot some crows, actually out of the same field that if we were gonna goose hunt, we would goose hunt there. But that's pretty much it. on my calls stat so far, but I hope you guys enjoyed and get help from this video to help you calling in the field. But if you would subscribe, I'm just getting started with my YouTube channel. It'd really mean a lot to me if you subscribed and hit the thumbs up and leave a comment below on any tips you have for me personally on duck calling if you're more experienced than me and you've watched this video. But if you have any questions, drop it down in the comments. But thank you. And I'll be posting a how to clean a duck video after this video. Okay, so thank you. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Catch you next video.